Leonard Show Speaks. This is episode 10, the first one we're putting on RealUltimateGeeks.com. San Diego just happened, so Leonard, let's get to it.
Well, unfortunately, it didn't just happen, but we had stuff going on. So
Yeah,
that's
we're working like
it's only
crazy,
fair.
and
So
if
yeah, we're
I was
like
gonna say if we go from
eight.
a weekly podcast to a bi-weekly podcast, it doesn't. We do it when we can.
But yeah, so
What was the big thing? What happened?
the big things, just that, it's San Diego. Everybody brings out the big guns, and there's tons of stuff going on. Uh, Actually, on a side note, you know what I'm kind of disappointed about out of the San Diego Comic Con? Name one comic
There
that
you
was
go.
made at the San Diego Comic Con.
There you go. I think we've talked about that before. You
Let
go.
us let us have an introspective moment of silence for the lack of comic news out of Comic Con.
Nothing said about the X Men.
But yeah, Justice League.
Nothing said
Anyway,
about X Men. I mean,
not that I know of. And all the coverage afterwards is immediately about all the movies and all the trailers. Which, don't get me wrong, Pepper needs new shorts, but that's from Dodgeball. Yeah, a lot of super cool stuff. And okay, I'm gonna start.
you've got
I'm
a
gonna.
list. You
I,
took notes.
I took notes. I have a list of priorities, and I'm realizing that my list of priorities are ascending on the scale. Like, this is the stuff that's or not great, and we're gonna ramp our way up into the good stuff.
It's like when you go to an amusement park, you don't ride the good roller coaster first
No, no.
because it ruins you.
Well, that's like, I mean, all these people who love comics and they're trying to get someone into comics and they hand them Watchmen. And I'm like, no, no, dude, you can't start with Watchmen because I
No.
either A, because Watchmen is masterclass in, like, Watchmen is just a complete mastery of the medium.
You have to appreciate the medium
You
first.
have to appreciate the medium first, exactly. The Because otherwise you're not going to understand exactly what those guys were doing, and just the fact that your average comic is 22 pages, your average comic script is 22 pages, if that. Um, the scripts for each issue of Watchmen were what, like 45 to 100 pages
Yeah.
long, with a
Yeah.
panel descriptions were a page long. I've just seen little bits of it. I've never actually read one, but I've seen bits of it. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. But pardon me. So odds are the person reading is not going to fully appreciate it.
Uh,
Or, second problem, they do appreciate it, and you've completely ruined them for all other
For
comics.
everything else, right? And it's like this sucks. This sucks. This sucks. It's like okay, try read this. This is really good. Well, that's the Killing Joke, but Alan Moore wrote that also. So let me get you into gaming, maybe.
Oh
You
yeah, we're
know,
going to talk about Killing Joke too.
I saw it. I watched it.
Did you?
Did
Okay.
you? Have you seen it?
I did. I went. I took the godson um, to the Monday night show. I did not get a lot of sleep. We were during inventory week. I went Monday night. Our inventory was Wednesday, so we're in hardcore inventory prep mode. So I worked my normal 7 to 4 Monday. Grabbed the kid. We went to see, and by the time we had guests from out of town at the house, when on the day the tickets went on sale, so I forgot about it. So I had to get the tickets on Saturday. So I couldn't get tickets to the 7 o'clock show. I had to get tickets to the 10:30 show, to
Oh,
the 10 o'clock show out at the Marcus in Addison. So
Addison.
yeah, it's not a horrible ride from where we are, but yeah. So I got to bed I got to bed like 12:30,
I
1
was yeah, I
o'clock,
was gonna say that sucker was like an hour and 20 minutes long. So
and then got up at 6 to work, and and this is the night before my split shift, because that's Monday going into Tuesday. Tuesday's the day before inventory. The day before inventory, we work 7 to 11 in the morning to do inventory prep stuff. We go home, and I was there close to noon. Then we go home and we come back at 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. to zone the store to make sure everything's cleaned up. And 11, of course, turned into midnight. So the night before I did that, I went to go see The Killing Joke, and I was horribly disappointed.
well, I'm picking up overtime this week. Normally I'm off, but
Okay.
I have to go in tonight. I have to be there at 6. I'm waking up at like 4 in the
Ooh.
afternoon,
Ooh.
and then I get off at midnight, and then I can sleep tomorrow, and then go work 6 at night to 6 in the morning tomorrow. So Tuesday morning, I'll be off at 6 and be like, yes. But then I go back in Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. and work my regular shift and won't be off until Sunday morning at 6 a.m. I'm pulling 64 hours this week.
Holy cuss balls.
Fucking overtime, dude.
Overtime, man.
Oh man.
Oh my! At Walmart, you can be you can be summarily executed for even mentioning overtime. I think I got like 2 hours of overtime inventory week, and heads could roll over that one.
Oh, my mom used to work at Sam's Club, and it was the same
Yeah,
thing. She's in the middle of doing something, and she's telling everybody, she's like, I'm hitting my 40, and I still have all this stuff to do. I can just leave it. And they'd be like, leaving. She's like, fine, fuck off. See ya,
yeah.
bitches.
Back in the day, we used to be able to get like 10, at least around inventory week, going into Blitz, Christmas, that stuff. We used to be able to get some overtime at that time.
Do you,
Now it's a sin.
do you have like a Costco or anything near you?
We have a Costco very near us.
You should, since you've
A
been.
few people from my store applied there,
Hmm.
and like didn't get much of a response. I don't know if they're avoiding Walmart people. Now, granted,
Well,
I didn't apply there.
did you hear a beep? Like
Yes,
a beep beep?
That was me plugging in my computer.
Oh, okay,
I
cool.
thought
I
it
was
was
like,
plugged in, but yeah. So
my brain's going, I'm like, I know that beep from somewhere. What is it? And that's what it was.
it sounds familiar because you built this.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom kept trying to get into Costco, and she was like, it was a pain in the ass. But they started off really good. It's supposed to be a great company to work for, which is a
It's supposed to be
motherfucker
really
to get
great.
into.
So the problem is now I'm back. I've got my 7 to 4 Monday through Friday schedule.
Which is
With
perfect for you.
with the two kids, this is Dawn and I both. We both have the same problem. Because I have really in retail, that is a tits fucking schedule, man. That is awesome.
Yeah.
She's at a small family-owned company. Uh, Most of the women she works with are mothers, including the president of the company. So there's no sideways glances. There's no questioning your loyalty if your kid is sick and you have to go home.
That's awesome.
So we're both in really great places, uh, schedule wise and flexibility wise. So that's why. But anyway,
Well, I've got a donation button on our website, so if anybody wants to give us money, by all means. He's got kids. I do Robo Savior, and he needs an oil change. So
and we will put it to good use. We will weed through all of this stuff for you.
I'm going to start going through like Patreon and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Well, and speaking of which, The Killing Joke. Your thoughts?
I wasn't. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to, but the parts that I did like, I liked. I
Yes.
mean, it starts off with that whole. Oh, by the way, oh no, I'm not going to even say it. Fuck it. I'm going to put it in the thing called Killing Joke. I think is what I'm going to call it. We're going to talk about the Killing Joke. If you don't want to hear anything, don't listen. But if you don't care, whatever. If you haven't read it yet, there's no way you should be listening to this podcast anyway.
Yeah.
Um, the opening part with Barbara getting into that relationship with that guy, and that was all. I was like, what the hell
And
is.
I remember over the summer they put out, when they released a little featurette to tell you that The Killing Joke is coming.
Mhm.
And it talks about how they open it with a Batgirl story. And I liked that idea.
Open
I
it my
liked
ass. It was 45 minutes long.
Exactly. I heard they opened it with this Barbara Gordon adventure, so that and I thought that was a great idea to remind everyone that Barbara Gordon was Batgirl, to remind everyone exactly what the Joker did and destroyed and took from us and what have you. But then it's this weird that this villain becomes fixated on her,
And the guy at school, and then she
and then
fucks Batman
she jumps Batman's bones and
and rips her
rips her
clothes
clothes
off,
off
and
and
it's
just
like,
gets him
whoa.
on a rooftop. Did Bruce keep the mask on? And so the simmering question,
I'm betting he
and
did.
then and then
Bruce didn't fuck her.
Batman's
Batman fucked her.
and well, of course he fucked her. He talks about how it was just sex, but uh, but then he's distant and kind of a dick, which is not great. And so I liked the idea of a Batgirl story to open it up to kind of just have that refresher. But what they did me mostly, I thought it was out of character for
Yeah.
everyone in that relationship. I thought it added baggage to the story that didn't need to be there. And
Especially with what happens. Then it's
yes,
like, this shit was enough. And you throw other crap on top of it that we didn't know was coming.
yeah,
So
and
okay, we both park our cars in the same garage on that one then.
yes, and okay, because now I don't know exactly where the line on this is, but Jim Gordon's his friend. Now, granted, he endorsed Barbara Gordon going behind her father's back to fight crime in a costume, and yet screwing his friend's daughter seems like a step too far. I don't know where the line is on that. I don't know why one is okay in my head and one is not, but one was not.
It was. I mean, it was. Then you have to go. Did he keep it up, or do you have to take some bat Viagra?
Oh, he kept it up. He's the
He's
pinnacle of human
fucking
perfection.
Batman. He was throwing batarangs all over the place while that
He
was going on.
ruined her for any other man. You know what that's like.
With all that Eastern training with his fighting and stuff, the guy's got to have tantra sex and everything.
He's got
He
tantra.
knows.
He's got Tantra Sutra and all
Uh,
that stuff
he,
going on.
he knows shit only monks up in Nepal know.
The vibrating palm technique,
I didn't even think about that.
right?
You just blew. You opened this up, man. I'm telling you. That's why we talk to
So,
you.
I mean, she was on top, so and yeah, she's
He's got
her head.
stuff going on.
I'm surprised her head didn't explode.
He
But
probably
anyway,
used his left hand instead of his right hand. His right hand would have killed her. The left hand, on the other hand.
if I use my right,
Well, it's like Chun in Reba Williams. He grabbed the girl and he taps her wrist a couple times and she's like,
yeah.
oh. So Batman probably just did that.
Freaking shoot! Oh my God, Dawn did not believe me that was Joel Grey as Chun.
Joel Grey, Joel Grey, Joel Grey.
He was in Cabaret. White British guy played Chun.
Okay.
And well, it came up because he was on Buffy in the fifth season when they first introduced her season and Glory and all that,
Hmm.
and he was this like not unthreatening looking guy who was incredibly dangerous. But we were watching through the Muppet Show with Lexi some years ago, and he hosted one of the original Muppet shows, and I'm like, yeah, he was Chun in Remo Williams. She's like, fuck you, because unfortunately for my wife, she has had to watch Remo Williams a couple of times in our relationship.
Unfortunately for her, my ass.
Yeah, well, she seemed to think it was unfortunate, but I told her that, and she's like, "Fuck you, you asshole! You are so full of shit." Because okay, important prologue here. I once convinced my wife that Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Incredible Hulk in the classic TV show, and it was not Lou Ferrigno, and that was bad of me.
How long did
I
you keep that one going for?
was going for a while,
Yeah.
and
By the way,
yeah,
our,
so
our, our listening audience, just so you know, one show, oh my God, I used your real name, Leonard Cho, can lie. Like, it's not really lying, it's just, he'll feed a bit of, like, he'll be telling a
I
great
crap,
story, but
I
right in the
crap.
middle of it, throw a little something in there that's just not true. Like that episode of Seinfeld, when Seinfeld tells Elaine, hey,
Oh,
did you
with
know
the
war, what is it good for? That was the original title of War and Peace. And that is exactly what this kid did growing up constantly. Constantly. I'm
good
watching that
God.
episode going, that's lunch right there.
I thought the
Yeah.
same thing when I saw that episode. I'm like, yeah, I do shit like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Fucking
anyway,
great. So, yeah.
so I had to like prove to her using IMDb that yes, that guy That refined British gentleman played that small Korean man. That just happened. But okay, so back to the Killing Joke.
Back to the
But
Killing Joke. Yeah.
I was also profoundly disappointed because they almost seemed to. There was and before it played in the theater, they were playing an interview with Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill referred to it as a definitive origin of the Joker, and like watching it, they seemed to think that it was a definitive origin to the Joker. And the Killing Joke is very much not, except in the way that it tells you that there is no definitive origin for the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is an enigma. We do not know. We can't know. He's just gone. He is insanity on two legs. He is, and
It was said best. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
yeah,
I mean, that defines it.
exactly. And they kept in the movie the line where he says, "Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it be multiple choice." But they didn't linger on that too long.
And like Heath Ledger did that also. Every time he told his story, which he only told I think twice, it was different.
It was three. There were three.
Okay.
And that's the direct influence of the Killing Joke. They adapted. They put several things in there, and that's the point of the Killing Joke. And it happened. It's right out there for you to see, and they didn't do this right when he's talking about in the flashback when he's talking about how hard it is and what he's doing, and his pregnant wife starts laughing, and she says, "Oh, hey, honey." They messed that up. They messed that up completely because it's very early in the book,
Mm-hmm.
and that tells you that because he's talking about what's going on, and she starts laughing, and he turns and he looks at her, and she's got this Joker smile plastered on her face. She's like, "Hey, you make me laugh, and you're great in the sack." So,
Yeah.
and then you cut back to him, like flashing back where he was reaching for something, and his
And
face
that triggered the memory.
his face is in shadow and a little haunted, and he's looking like, "Yeah, that's not quite right. That's not real. That did not happen."
But really,
So
maybe it didn't. He's just kind of like, no, that's not how it happened. No, it had to be something else.
also the Killing Joke film adaptation, the animated adaptation, really drives home exactly how short the Killing Joke is.
Fuck yes, I couldn't.
This isn't.
They
It's
did the
not
whole
a
thing.
four-issue series. This is like maybe a double-sized issue. It was in production for quite some time because
Brian
Brian
Boland.
was.
That was the first full length comic he did. I thought he was a
That's
cover
very
artist.
awesome. He was mostly a cover artist.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know he may have done some 2000 AD stuff before that, but when I saw he was, cause I remember that it's like Boland. He does covers. He doesn't do fucking comics. It's like Alex Ross when he did Kingdom Come. This guy does covers. He doesn't do comics.
Kingdom Come is fucking great.
Man,
But
Shazam! I love that. I fucking love that. Just fries the fuck out of Superman.
but
Anyway,
for me, it's in the first issue when you've got the two teams of heroes, battling villains, and they're destroying more than they're saving, and you've got the pastor Norman, somebody, right?
mhm.
And he's talking to the Spectre. He's like, "We need help, God. We need hope." And suddenly, there was a wind. I swear to
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
I heard the fucking Superman theme when I was reading that, and then it bends the steel of their weapons, and then Superman is floating, and he's holding like three guys in each hand, and oh God,
even when you see him on the farm that first time,
yeah,
you just see this farmer and he lifts up the tractor,
picks up the tractor,
and it's like,
gets underneath it.
holy shit, this is awesome. And I'm not even a DC guy, and I was like,
Yeah. I
amazing.
swear to God, folks, we're going to talk about.
We're gonna
comic
we always
event.
bounce around. Yeah, well, this is probably gonna be a long one, which is fine. I'll catch a nap and then pull another 12-hour shift.
Boom. So yeah, the Killing Joke. It's a double-sized issue. Maybe it's not a very long story.
Not at all.
Probably could have transformed that into a straight 40 minutes of animation.
And it was. It started
And
at
I think it was back. You make a big deal out of finally bringing the Killing Joke to finally adapting it, and it's the back half, and the front half was not great. I
I
mean, yeah,
literally, because I got a copy of it, and I fast
uh
forwarded. I'm watching it, and I'm like 10, 15 minutes into this, going, okay, the opening scene they showed in the trailer, but how come? Let me fast forward a little bit. Oh, okay, there's Batman walking into Arkham. Okay, cool. Let me. What I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Why is all this shit happening?
yeah, it was
Now, when she's in the hospital and Batman shows up and that cop is sitting there, I don't remember him in the comic.
no,
Where he kind of really goes, here's what happened. We found her in a state of undress, is what he said. And
yes,
I don't remember that from the comic. And then Batman was like, he said, get out or leave us alone or can we have a minute or something like that. And she was just like, oh my God, they have my dad. That was like her first concern.
yeah,
That scene was really good.
yes, the things that they did pretty well.
The animation I had a problem with. I know it's the Batman style, but I really wished they did with the killing. One of the main things of the Killing Joke, obviously, the storyline is what it is. It's awesome, but that artwork was unprecedented. It was like we said, it was
Yeah,
Boland.
that's Boland.
If they would have gotten an animation team that was, I hate to say it, a Japanese animation team. Historically, from what I recognize, Japanese do it really fucking good, and
Yep.
just add that more detail to it. Just put more
Well,
oomph.
and that's another problem with the prologue, with the first half that they did, because the first half because in the featurette they released, they talked about how they really couldn't reproduce Brian Boland's style in animation because they tried to do that as much as possible. Ed McGuinness, they tried to replicate when they did the Batman and Superman movie. Most
World's finest.
No, not World's Finest. The first arc of the Batman Superman comic, Public Enemies,
Oh,
was the
okay.
DC animated movie, and they replicated Ed McGuinness's style pretty well,
Hmm.
as much as you can. And they talked about how they really couldn't do that with Brian Boland, so they kind of, I forget the other artist they mentioned, but they kind of had Brian Boland here and the other artist here, and they kind of melded them. And the look of Batman was similar to how he looked in Killing Joke,
His
so it's
his
fine. I
horns though kind
understand.
of like came out a little bit though.
Yeah, yeah, and
You know,
they so
Wrightson.
they
I loved Wrightson when he did Batman. That
oh,
was
so they did the best they could, but the problem is in the front half that looks no different than your Batman the Animated Series animation, and so then you almost switch gears, and it's like it doesn't work.
literally switch gears. You go from
Yeah,
you're cruising along. You're in first. You're in second. You're in third. Okay, I'm gearing up, and then all of a sudden, boom, slam me back into first again. And it's like, well, not even you don't even get out of second. I don't think. And that first storyline was just
that
fucking
doesn't get out of second gear, no, and yeah, it's great that it was written by Brian Azzarello, but
no shit. Brian Azzarello wrote that.
apparently it's at the end it said written by Brian Azzarello.
Wow, that's an old school throwback right there for you.
And you include the little scene of her becoming Oracle at the end, and it's like the Killing Joke.
I kind of checked out when he told the story about with the flashlight, and they both started laughing. I was like, "This is the end of it," and then it went on a little bit more, and I was like, "Huh? Why are you? This is where it ends."
Yeah. Well, I think they went to credits for a little bit, and then they tacked on the scene of her becoming Oracle. I don't know, but it was. I will say this: it in the original comic, the joke that the Joker tells at the end, I never thought it was all that funny, but
Then you hear it,
hearing hearing Mark Hamill tell it, I'm like, okay,
and
that worked.
he did the Joker voice on this one.
Yeah, yeah, he came out of retirement.
Fucking nails it. I
Yep.
knew he did it on the TV show, I think it was,
Oh yeah.
but I never really
TV show, video
watched it.
games. Oh,
But I think this is the first time I really like the whole time I'm like going. I go because I remember that I was like I think Mark Hamill did this because this is fucking amazing. The guy who did Batman's voice, though, I wasn't too impressed with. I didn't
that was
like the Batman.
Kevin. That was Kevin Conroy, who's my favorite Batman voice. But there was, I don't know, I was underwhelmed by the production as a whole, and it's a
Yeah.
shame. But also, in a way, it's right because when you've got that Killing Joke comic in your hand, you don't need anything else. This is a comic story. It's a comic medium, and it really drives home Alan Moore's point. Every time they reinforce, pardon me, every time they adapt Alan Moore's work, they reinforce his point that you should not try to adapt Alan Moore's work. He's like, no, excuse me, this I wrote the guy is legit. The guy is hardcore. For if for no other reason, Ken, he doesn't take the money. They send him checks.
Really?
He doesn't take it. He's like, "No, you take my name off of that movie. I didn't write a movie. I wrote a comic. You take my name off of it. I don't want your money." For Watchmen, he signed his check over to Dave Gibbons. He's like, "Go ahead, you take it. I don't want nothing, nothing, nothing says this is legit. Like, no, I don't need your money. Because if you violated my principles but gave me money, I would take the money. Like I said, I got two kids. They're going to
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
someday. I'd take the money. I'd still be offended, but I'd take the money.
So, folks, you send this guy $1,000, he'll wear a bikini.
and
I'll do it for $5.
and none of us will ever be the same. So,
Yeah, so we both pretty much park our cars in the same garage on that one. It was, I mean, it was cool seeing the Killing Joke, but at the same time, it really wasn't the Killing Joke. It was, I mean, out of five
Did I
stars,
tell
I'm
you-
giving it like maybe 2. Yeah, I'll go 2 on it.
I don't go a full 2. I'm very middle of the road. I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay, so you're a little bit higher than I am.
I'll say it was good. Good, not great.
Yeah.
Certainly not 5 stars.
And if I were to
But-
show it to anybody, I would start at the point where he goes into Arkham, and then
Yeah.
Joker tells a joke and he grabs him, and then I would end it and say, that's the Killing Joke. Everything else, bullshit.
Daddy, can we watch The Killing Joke? Well, you can watch the last half of it.
Yeah, and it's only going to be about 40 minutes, I think.
Maybe something like that.
A half hour?
If that.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the Killing Joke first print that I've got?
You've got one.
Dude, I was at my comic shop. I don't know. This is the kind this is my one story like this where you kind of read about things like this happening and you almost don't believe it. It was when I was going to Windy City Comics,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and they pulled out of the back room for I don't know how this stayed in their back room for this long. They had a shipper box of when they first sent the Killing Joke out. It had they were in the little display where you take off the top, fold it back, and it sits on the counter.
Yeah.
Because it's the Killing Joke. I got it fresh from the thing, and the guy's like, I don't know what, $20. I'm like, shit, yes, I'll take that for $20. I should have bought 2.
The thing is, I don't think it really goes for $20. I don't think it's worth that much. They did so many printings of that. My copy's a third printing. I know it's got a fucked up cover on it.
I think first printings, at least they're priced at $50, but
Yeah, and then you have cons. What again? But you go to a con, you don't find comic books, so
yeah. So, but yeah, so I got a first printing of the Killing Joke, and that was
that's
awesome.
awesome. That is awesome. That's one of those books that it really doesn't matter what printing you have if you get a first printing. Do
Actually,
it.
the hardcover they did a hardcover of
Really?
it, and Ryan Boland recolored it because he punched up some of the colors, changed the color schemes in the flashbacks.
Hardcover
to-
I can get online for about $12.
Yes, yeah, you want that. You want that. You want that.
You do want to buy that.
So yeah, that's the thing.
These motherfuckers go to that. What in the hell is that? That you get your comic book, you send it to them, and they grade it for you and give it a rating,
Uh-huh.
which I have issues with. I can do an entire podcast about that alone. Fucking assholes. But they've got one here. 1988, yeah, 175. Somebody's asking for. Somebody else is asking for 40. Oh, here's a more reasonable. $46. And it's got
I'd take-
6 bids.
I'd take $46 for mine.
So there you go. There
I
you
got to
go.
start. There's a few books that I'm going to put on eBay. I've got issues 1 through 4 of the Wolverine miniseries.
Be careful about that because I've sold stuff on eBay,
Uh-huh.
which is fine. Battle Pope, that was the first thing Robert Kirkman did. And I
Right.
sent it to the guy. I'm like, it's in good shape, whatever. And this guy ripped me a new asshole because he's one of those, put the monocle on. Well, I don't know. There's a little bit of discoloration here, and there's a little bit of this. What? Read the fucking comic, dickhead. You got it dirt cheap because now it's probably worth who knows what.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful selling the shit on eBay.
Oh
Simply
yeah,
because
just because
people
of
will
the
fucking come
finicky
back.
ass. Yeah.
You get those fucking internet tough guys. Well, actually, this isn't near mint. This is very fine. That's all it is because of these reasons. It's like, fuck off. You got the comic book. It's not ripping apart. You know what I mean? Goddamn, cover's good. You can read the fucking pages. Besides, I mean, physical media is dying. It's dead as far as I'm concerned. But I understand buying comic books. I understand having them in your hand. I have Stray Bullets. I still haven't read them all yet. I got to fucking stop by the shop and pick up more.
That's got the Stan Lee is the greatest quote on that ever. Because they asked Stan Lee about digital comics.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Comics are like boobs. They look great on a computer screen, but you'd always rather have one in your hand."
And the greatest line I've heard about boobs is someone one time was like, those things are fake. And someone else went, yeah, but the skin around them's real.
Eh.
A friend of mine, her sister has fakies. Again, here we are deviating again. But she got them when he first came out.
Fakey.
Yeah. And the chick works out, right? So she's like all fucking ripped and stuff. And she's over. And I was like, and she's like fucking doing stuff. And I'm like, what? Because I'm looking at the musculature and stuff. Just an excuse to get her shirt off. She has no problem getting naked. And I was like, I just grabbed her tit. She's looking at me like, okay. And I squeezed it. And it crinkled like a grocery bag. I went, crink. I'm like, whoa. I've kind of been around the block on these things before, but I'm like, what's that?
You might want to have that checked out.
What's going on there? She's like, I got him when he first came out, and it was the sack that it was like saline is in it or something. Either way, there can be, they can turn into a little bit of a train wreck, but then again, you always slow the car down and look at a train wreck. So,
Wow.
yeah, that was a weird one. So we both saw Killing Joke. We both
Both
pretty
saw
much
Killing Joke.
are the
Both
same
on
on that one. But then we've got San Diego.
San Diego. All right, we're going to start at the bottom. And yes, this is the bottom because they played Justice League. They didn't call it a trailer, but it's a trailer. They played the footage we have so far that we have cleaned up. And it just
So you didn't.
they're overcorrecting like crazy.
Oh, we talked about this.
Because BVS is all grim. Life is nothing. We're all gonna die. Nothing matters. Just comically grim. It is
Right.
comically grim. But now that didn't work. So we're gonna shift all the way over this side. Ooh, look, jokes, fun. Look at the fun we're having.
That's what they're doing all the reshoots on Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and it's just so the best we can hope for at this point is that BVS is all the way over here. Now we're rocking the boat back this way for Justice League. Hopefully, we'll be on an even keel for Justice League Part.
And by BVS, you mean
Batman
vs Superman.
Fucking shit. Fucking
I did-
Zack
did-
Snyder.
I
I would drag
watched-
Zack Snyder to the Hague and charge him with crimes against fandom.
I
and
watched some of
fucking
the
string
trailers.
him up.
I watched like movie clips of it because I haven't sat down and watched it. And yeah, I was like, this is kind of. I mean, Affleck is Batman.
That's very cool.
Cool. Amazon, not from the Amazon.
Nope.
Why are you making her Hispanic? Not against having a Hispanic superhero.
She's
I'm-
Jewish.
I-
Gal Gadot, I believe she's Israeli.
Real? Oh, but she's playing a Hispanic character, isn't she?
No, she's not Hispanic. She's
Well, I mean, she's not, but I'm saying Wonder Woman.
no.
I was told they gave her, and I heard it. It sounded like a Hispanic accent.
No, she's got a fucked up accent. She sounds foreign, but
Firing.
And speaking specifically about Batman and Superman, the real conundrum to me with Zack fucking Snyder, I can't say his name any other way, is I don't understand how he can understand these characters so poorly and yet cast them so very well. Because Henry Cavill, say what you will about Man of Steel, Henry Cavill fucking is Superman.
He's
Ben
also
Affleck,
Jesus.
oh God, don't get me started. Don't get me
Dude,
started
we could
on
do
that.
another fucking podcast on just on that one.
He is clubbing you over there. Oh yeah, Superman's Jesus. No, he's not. You fucking idiot, simpleton. Oh God, if Superman is anything, he's Moses. I think Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster did not create a Jesus analogy. He's Moses. His parents stick him in a basket and send him away to save him from the oncoming
There
cataclysm.
you go. Also, what year did Action Comics #1 come out?
1938.
What happened in 1938?
Uh,
Hitler rose to
Action
power. Hitler was
Action
a
Comics #1
well.
came out.
Hitler rose to power. Hitler was very
Yep,
much influenced by Nietzsche. Nietzsche was all about the Uberman, the Superman. There you go.
the
He's a Nazi.
Ubermensch. Yes.
So I can link anything to anything
Yeah.
else. But
So yeah,
so yeah,
so we're going on an ascending plane here, and I really I haven't seen Zack Snyder like actually respond, but I've read his responses because during the press tour for BVS, he was getting the question a lot as to why he didn't use Grant Gustin as the Flash. Because the Flash television show is enormously popular. Grant Gustin is really good in it. And I love the fact that reading his responses, he was getting kind of tired of it. He was getting kind of sick of hearing that question. He's like, no, and because he was talking about how the show on the CW is it's light and flippant, and that's not really our tone because we're turning Batman into Murder Man in the DC universe. But I love the fact that he's getting questions a lot. It's like, why not use Grant Gustin? And it's like, no, we're going with Ezra Miller, and it's just bad. Like there's a scene in the trailer with Bruce Wayne recruiting Ezra Miller, which is very, very similar to the scene in Civil War when Robert Downey Jr. recruits Spider-Man. It's very similar in content, but not quality, unfortunately, because it's nowhere near as good. And so you've got Barry Allen as like this geeky loser in his little flash cave who has no friends. There's no indication of him being a CSI with the police, which is the character's backstory and his origin, and one of the things that he brings to the table. Because Ezra Miller is really young, and they're trying to make him their Spider-Man. It looks like, and it's just fucking pathetic.
they did that and it worked. We need to do the same thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
There
To
go
me, but
bots Transformers.
I mean, getting Zack Snyder, they started filming Justice League like a couple of weeks after BVS came out. So Zack Snyder getting yanked from that project was, that was a pie in the sky. That's not going to happen. I never really thought that would happen. But going forward, I will be shocked. I will eat one of these slippers I'm wearing if you ever see Zack Snyder's name on a DC movie.
You had mentioned that. I think
That
he
guy's
was
got to be done.
he was under contract to do this, right?
Um, I'm sure there were contracts involved, but mainly they started filming 2 weeks after Batman v Superman came out.
Mm,
So the train was running. They couldn't stop it and kick the conductor off right then.
right.
All right. So after Justice League,
Which you said is going to be very light, very brightly colored movie, very jokey.
I have no objection to bright colors. The shit filter that Zack Snyder puts on his films really annoys me. Just throwing a healthy amount of gray into every color. Have you seen the thing on YouTube where someone takes that filter off of Man of Steel and you see Superman actually looking like Superman in blue and red, and it's fucking beautiful?
Wow, no. There's
You should
probably a
check it.
fan edit out there I can probably get my hands on.
Yeah, you should. Um, so, and we will be returning to the suckitude of the DCEU Flash in just a minute, because after that they played the trailer. Now, since we're going in ascending order, then there's the trailer for Wonder Woman that got played.
Same
Uh,
actress?
Same actress, unfortunately. I'm not crazy about it,
I
but
wasn't really too happy about her either, but
but the movie looks decent. It it looks it's interesting.
Who's driving that ship?
I forget the director's name. I'd have to consult the Oracle, but uh, I know it's a female director. The woman who directed
Awesome.
Monster, uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so she's directing that, and the writing is so much better because there's some witty stuff that they play, but it's clearly not the apologetic, ooh, look, fun writing of the Justice League. It's much better. It's much more natural. Chris Pine is in it. He looks really good.
Kick ass.
I'm still baffled as to why it's a World War I story that has never, ever, ever been a part of Wonder Woman's origin. It's like they're trying to make her
Because Captain
Captain
America
America.
was World War II, and they're going, "How will one up you? We'll do World War One, damn it."
And the fact that when we see her in BVS, um, she hasn't been active for the last pretty much century. So
So,
whatever happens at the end of Wonder Woman is going to lead her to abandon the world of men. So
so yeah, does she talk like, "Come on, fellas, let's go out there and really give them what for? Go help those
uh,
doughboys out fighting the Kaiser. We'll give some krauts a fat lip."
Patty Jenkins is the director.
Oh, don't know her.
Um, yeah, I think she directed Monster, but uh,
But you would think that if she's there in World War One and then disappears and then comes back, because Captain America was like that. Captain America came back and he was just like, "What the heck is going on?" Sorry for the foul language, but what the heck is going on? Really played into it and was like, lived in the place that he's used to living in. It's now the slums and stuff. And he goes to the
yeah,
gym
it's
and he really had especially in the comic, really had a tough time adjusting to
yeah,
how things are now. But being
yeah.
from World War One, that's so
So Wonder Woman, cool action. They show that you see the magic lasso glowing all golden.
nice.
So it so it looks like it could be good. I doubt it'll really make me a convert. And
Does she fly her invisible biplane?
no, no, not that I'm aware of. And also because they show Steve Trevor washed up on the shores of Paradise Island, and it's like, okay, yeah, he is a pilot, it seems, but it's like, okay, did a biplane in World War I have the range for him to be out over the water to crash and wash up with there? What the fuck? What are you doing? What are
The
you
an-
doing?
the answer is not really.
What are you doing, Warner Brothers? And okay, and what I hate is hearing all the DC fanboys who respond to any criticism of the DCEU movies as, "Oh, you're just a Marvel fanboy," and it's like, all right, hang on, boy, let me school you real quick because I grew up reading. I describe myself Marvel boy, DC man. I grew up.
Oh, I
I grew
like
up.
that.
I grew up reading Marvel as an adult. Late high school and moving on from there, I transitioned over to DC. What the Marvel
That's
films
because
have,
I moved away.
yeah, what the Marvel films have done is really kind of recapture the original greatness of a lot of those characters, a lot of the classic stories.
Oh yeah.
And so what I need everyone to understand is that if there were great DC movies to go along with my great Marvel movies, my inner 12-year-old would be the happiest fucking geek on the entire planet. I'm not a DC basher. I'm a Warner Brothers basher because I guarantee you Dan Didio, Jim Lee, Jeff Johns, all the guys at DC would probably trade their right nut to not be owned by Warner Brothers, to be able to pull a Marvel, form their own studio and do this stuff right. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I'll bet it. Warner Brothers, I think I mentioned it earlier, like when they got into the video game market and bought Atari, I've read that story in multiple books and I know everything that happened in the background. And it's like DC, not DC, it's like Warner Brothers, you do make good movies. You also have Bugs Bunny. Stick with those things and we'll be okay. Now it's like, let's get these comic books and do this. And I'm an executive and I know what's going on. And my little kid really likes XYZ, so we have to put XYZ man in here and make it look like this.
Yeah, Joel Schumacher tells the story on Batman and Robin how one of the creative consultants on the flick was actually one of the, some executive's 8-year-old nephew. I forget the exact age. Kid might have been 11, but whatever. They had a child advising them on what
And
should be on the
and
movie.
there's a reason I use that as an example because the story about how the ET game got made. I think everybody
Oh
knows about
god,
that.
yeah,
But you have a
yeah.
guy going, trying to schmooze Spielberg, going, Spielberg, you only make movies with Universal. We really want to bring you in. We own Atari. We can make an ET video game for you. He's like, yeah, it'd be great. And I'll find a developer or somebody who could actually make the game. Going, yeah, when do you need it by? 6 to 8 months to make a game. We need it done in like 6 to 8 weeks. And they found one person who said, yeah, I can do that. And that's what happens when you don't beta test
And the
or alpha
rest is
test.
history.
Yeah, the rest is history. So, okay, so we've got.
Justice League, Wonder Woman. Now we're going to move on to the Flash television series.
Now, The Flash and Green Lantern both have television series, and I've heard one's better than the other.
Green Arrow, not Green
That's green.
Lantern. Arrow, I kind of fell off on. I really like Stephen Amell in that role, but the last season, I don't know. Once Oliver and Felicity got together, it just never felt real to me. They were listening to all the people on the internet saying, "Oh, they should be together," and they really should not be together. But anyway,
Another
so
example.
so yeah, the Flash has been a great show, and it looks like they're going to continue knocking it out of the park. They're doing because the last season ended. Because okay, first season opens with Barry's mom getting killed by the Reverse Flash when he's like 12, and his dad goes to prison for it. And over the course of the first season, he unravels that it was Zoom, the Reverse Flash, and so he figures out how to go back in time to that night and stop her from getting killed.
Ooh.
But when he's about to do it, oh, and okay, follow me through here. Because when Barry wakes up and there's a red blur and a yellow blur moving around his mother, and then Barry is all of a sudden a couple blocks away, and when he finally gets home, his mom is dead. The incident he woke up to is a future version of himself fighting the Reverse Flash because the Reverse Flash was trying to pull a Terminator, kill Barry as a child before he ever becomes the Flash.
Ooh.
So Barry took himself out of the house, but while he was gone, the Reverse Flash killed Barry's mom. So over the course of the season, he figures out how to go to that moment and save his mom. And so he gets there and he's in the house and he hears the fight going on. And he like cracks the door open and he looks out and the future version of him puts up a hand and says, "No, don't interfere here." And so he lets his mom be killed by Zoom. But he does go out there and he takes his mask off and he tells her, "I'm Barry. This won't make sense to you." And so he has a nice moment with his mom as she dies and
Mm.
he's passing. So that's
But
the end of season.
did his future self stop time all over the place? Like maybe he did stop it and then things went fucking haywire crazy, so then he had to go back and actually let it happen?
Well, because Future Flash has the wisdom to know that if you mess with the timeline, things go wrong.
Just watch Doctor Who.
Exactly.
Duh.
But hang on. So, second season happens. More traumatic stuff happens to Barry, and he beats uh, Zoom. Oh no, I'm sorry. I think I said it was Zoom in the first season, but no, it was just the Reverse Flash. In the comics, I think they're the same. But the Reverse Flash was first season, and the second season he faced Zoom, uh, who was this other dark speedster, and he defeats him and all that. But there's a lot that's lost, and so he takes care of Zoom, and there's still like 15 minutes left in the episode. And Barry's father was killed after he got him out of prison and all that. So he's kind of moping around, and he's out by himself, and he sees like his adoptive family on the front porch, and in the narration he's saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm sorry." He had this monologue, but it ends with, "I'm sorry because this is something I've just got to do," and it ends with him running and opening a portal back in time, and he goes back to the night his mom killed, and he does stop it. And so now, season 3, they're doing Flashpoint. Flashpoint. They're even calling it Flashpoint. Flashpoint was the miniseries
I
comic.
I think I remember when it was on the shelf. So was that in the 90s?
No, 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 no. This is very recent. This is
Oh.
what launched the New 52,
Oh.
Flashpoint. And what happens is Barry wakes up, or Barry's at work, finds himself at work. He doesn't have powers, and his mom, who is supposed to be dead, is meeting him to have dinner on his birthday. And he's like, "What the hell is going on?" And so he tracks down. So he's trying to track down everyone he knows, and so he goes to the Batcave, and Batman comes in, and he's like, because Batman doesn't know him,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Bruce, no, listen." And Batman becomes enraged and grabs him. He's like, "Why are you talking about Bruce?" Batman's not Bruce Wayne in this timeline. In this timeline, Bruce was killed by Joe Chill, and Thomas Wayne became Batman.
No way.
And Thomas Wayne is not the physical specimen that Bruce is. He didn't train himself. He's a tactician, and he uses weapons. Batman is a scary, scary dude because you took
Fucking
his
your
family.
kid gets killed. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Barry conceives of a way. Barry rigs himself to get struck by lightning again. At first, it doesn't quite work, and he's just got burns over third degree burns over 80% of his body. He's like, "No, no, no, we got to do it again. We got to do it again. Trust me, I get my powers back. This will heal real quick." Fortunately, the second time it works, and so the whole world is fucked up. Themyscira is at war with Atlantis. There is no Superman, and so everything is just fucked up in this universe. And Barry's like, "No, it must be because something happened in the time stream." And so when Barry finally confronts the Reverse Flash in this story, he's like, "What did you do?" And the Reverse Flash just starts laughing, and he's like,
Because it wasn't me. It was you.
"I didn't do anything.
Nailed it.
You did this." And so, in a heartbreaking turn of events, Barry has to travel back in time and stop himself from saving his mom.
Wow.
He has to fight himself in the final, and it's great. But when he comes back, he doesn't realize it, but everything is slightly changed still, but just slightly changed, and that's where you got the New 52. That's where the New 52 came from. And so, as I understand it, Arrow, because it shares the same universe, is also going to be completely different next season. Relationships are going to be changed. I don't know exactly to what degree, so I'm going to have to start watching that again as well. But it's going to be harder because I've heard the CW is leaving Hulu, and it's like, well, how am I supposed to watch it? I ditched cable. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure something out. Cody.
Yeah, it's sitting right in front of you.
So all that's going on. But doing this and seriously, even if you haven't watched the Flash TV show, watch the trailer for season 3 that they played at San Diego. I want you to watch it just so you can give me your opinion, because I think you'll still feel like it's pretty cool. I think you'll get hints of the awesomeness that they're doing. Now we're going to class it up, and we're going to talk about the Marvel half of the San Diego content. What I hate, sorry, just talking about DC for a second, because what I really hate after they played their Justice League trailer is there were a lot of, the Nerdist did a video where they're like, "Oh yes, we're saved. It's fun now. Everything's great." And I'm like, "No, guys, I usually like your stuff, but you're a little too eager." Now, granted, I'm very much not a fan of the WB DC stuff, and I'll own that. But you can't just pop in and say, "Oh, look, there were some jokes. We're saved." No, there's still a lot of stuff that doesn't look good. The Flash costume does not look good, especially the helmet. It looks very much like the Chris Evans Captain America helmet. Just the shape of it and everything.
Once
it's
again,
just bright red. And so, yeah, it looks so derivative.
They did that. We need to do this.
It's ridiculous. But so we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about Marvel. I love the fact that Marvel's panels just kind of own San Diego, because you've seen Guardians, right? You've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fuck yeah!
They had the Ravagers come out in costume walking through the crowd, taunting people, and it looked like a WWE event almost
Oh
because you
my God.
had like a dozen guys in Ravager gear and costumes and makeup just going through the crowd and getting everybody's attention. It just looks so so.
Now the sequel, is James Gunn directing the sequel?
Yes, James Gunn, writer
Fucking
director.
thank God.
Did you? Oh my God, have you heard about? Oh my God, Ken, have you heard about Star Lord's dad? Oh my
Christopher
God,
Walken.
I get to share this moment
I
with
heard something, but I didn't. I think it was one of those things where like I purposely didn't. I heard it, but I didn't remember it.
you. You don't know who they cast as Star Lord's dad, do you?
Is it Han Solo?
No. Although he could have been Han Solo. There's
Kurt
footage of
Russell. Fucking A.
Kurt
Yes, I did
Russell.
hear this.
Jack Burton is
God
Star
damn.
Lord's daddy.
That was one of the posters I was going to put up there, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to frame it right. Then I found the hidden, and I was like, I'll throw the hidden up there. That's really fucking obscure.
I need a Big Trouble in Little China poster.
I've got
That
one. It's a reprint. I gotta get an original. This one,
I'll
where is it? This
I'll
one,
get a
that's a
reprint.
motherfucking original. And this might be. Oh, this is a video store copy.
I remember that. I remember that. There's a place in Berwyn. It was there our whole lives. I can't believe I never knew it was
Don't
there.
you fucking hate that shit? What is
It
it?
was
What's it called?
Real Art, REEL. Look for them on Facebook, like them on Facebook. Every few months they do like a warehouse sale. I went to the one before the one that just
Where
happened.
are they at? Well, I'll look them up.
They're in Berwyn. They're right by the tracks, right around McNeil, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
Like down the way, like the tracks by Comic Collector,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
down those tracks a ways.
Oh, okay. I was born at McNeil.
Oh,
I
uh,
caddied for the doctor who delivered me.
my children. Wait, you did what for the Doctor Who?
When I was a caddy.
Oh no shit! I
I,
remember that. I remember
I
you talking about
that
that.
was. I remember when that happened. The guy's like, I recognize. Hey, is this that and the other? And I go, yeah. And you told my mom's mom that my mother just gave birth to a Mack truck. He's like, oh yeah. I go, they called me Mac like my entire life.
That's
Nobody does anymore, but still, I really like it. Mac's a good name.
all three of my kids were born at McNeil.
No
Uh,
shit.
yeah, we went to McNeil.
It's like a baby place. I guess it's a baby factory.
It is. It's great. But they've got
So
anyway Real Art. They've got
real
a
art. I'm looking it up
warehouse,
right now.
and the posters they're all folded because the posters are in
Thank
like
God.
those like Manila envelopes, and they're all
That's
written like it's mostly like very obscure films.
which is
When
good
I
because that's the shit I look for.
yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of time to look through everything, but but yeah, an original Big Trouble in Little China that'll cost you. That will cost
Last time I looked, they were going for about 350.
you. Yeah, at least that. Because I remember I was in there and I'm like, you don't happen to have a Big Trouble in Little China? And he's like, oh no, I had one, I sold it. um, but I got like a poster. I got a postcard sized version of the poster, but also I got a lobby card from not from the original theatrical release, but it was like John Carpenter and Kurt Russell appeared at some convention.
For the thing. Or was it Big
Something.
Trouble in Little China? Or
I
was
don't know.
it Elvis? Or
Or some signing that they did, but anyway, they had a bunch of these printed up. So I'm like, yeah, give me that. I'll take it. Um,
now the reason that place probably lives now, because now I'm like going, fuck, I need to go there, because I've learned a lot about movie posters, and NSS, the National Screen Service, had warehouses. One of them was in Chicago, and there's guys online who sell shit that they got when the NSS shut down. They took all their extra stock, so you'll find these posters. That's where Real Men probably came from, as well as the NSS number on the bottom. But what a lot of people don't know is that when a movie came out, there was this, but then also there was another thing that was like 36 inches by like 12 inches wide that was supposed to go in the front of the movie house.
right. Okay.
So I discovered those a few years ago, and I kind of had to step back from collecting, running out of space, whole 9 yards. But Jay, and you know Jay,
Yeah.
when we were doing Real Booze together, his favorite movie is the movie Hooper. So one year
Okay.
for his birthday or something, I was going to get him a Hooper movie poster. A little bit of this going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then that's when I discovered these thin ones, and I was like, what the shit? What the hell? And it was way cheaper, but still just as cool. I picked that up when it got shipped to me. You can smell it. You can see it has that old paper smell to it, and I was like,
Yeah.
fucking right on. But dude, yeah, there's some really weird, obscure shit that I'm looking for as far as original posters go. So I found them online, by the way, and I like how they're REL net or
Yeah.
realart.net because that's why we were real
Oh,
booze.
did you look them up? Are you
REL.
looking
Oh
at it
yeah,
right now?
I'm at the page
Cool.
right now. This is fucking yeah. This is dangerous.
It is.
I've got movie posters that aren't even framed yet, and I buy these cheeseball frames at Walmart for like $20.
Yeah.
Or when you go to check out, bring them up three at a time, stacked, and set it down, and it'll only scan the top one because it'll assume it's a 3-pack, and then you'll pay $20 for three of them.
Not at my store, you bastard.
Oh, they go
You
through
know
each and
better.
every one.
We're in the hood, man. We know every con, hustle, grift, swindle, stratagem, and bamboozle out there. Okay, we
Fuck it,
see
man,
it
they're all
all.
wet behind the ears up here. I sort of guys like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, we got Marvel.
So Marvel, Kurt Russell is Star Lord's dad. There hasn't been any Guardians of the Galaxy footage that has come out that I know of. So let's see. What do you want? Do you want TV or film first?
I want.
Film.
I really want film. I'm excited about film. So start with TV.
Okay.
Unless
Uh,
unless TV's better than film. Start with TV. Give us TV first.
we'll start with TV. Okay. So we're gonna go. Uh, where are you on Daredevil? You're still in
Punisher.
season 2, right?
Yeah, Punisher's in the bed talking, and because he's all fucked up. I think I watched the one after that, but I was like, I have a
Okay.
tendency to like two screens. I'll watch a movie or a TV show or something on one screen and game on the other screen.
You watched South Park back in the day, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember there was an episode that was all about them wanting to see the teaser trailer for Asses of Fire 2? And they had to go from house to house, and they were just trying to find somewhere where they could watch this on television. And the whole episode was their misadventures, just trying to get somewhere to watch the trailer for the new Terrence and Phillip
I
movie.
probably saw it, but I don't
And
remember it.
then and then when it plays, it's just like coming Ashes of Fire 2. And it shows an ass and it shows fire, and that's it. And the kids are like, yeah, awesome! Ah! I was that kid. I am that kid. I am
Yeah,
still that kid.
hardcore. I'm going to see this
They
movie. Why
played
do you want to see that movie? Because I have a trailer for this other movie coming out, and I really want to see that.
They played the teaser. It's not even a teaser for the season, but they showed it's a subway stop, and it's Hell's Kitchen, and it's like lines 1, 2, and 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think you hear like and like a little bit of blood splatters on 3. Just and that they're announcing
Oh,
and that's it.
that's how you do it.
That's it. It's just and there you go.
And,
But
oh.
after that, Agents of Shield, they're wasting Ghost Rider on Agents of Shield.
Whoa. I liked it when they brought Ghost Rider back and Mark Taharia, or Texiera, however you pronounce it. I've heard it's Taharia,
Yeah,
was doing the
I
art, and that was great. But then I didn't see any of the movies, but now they're incorporating them into.
I haven't seen the movies. Marvel got the rights back. It was kind of a big deal. There was a lot of press. Marvel got the rights back for the Punisher, Blade, Ghost Rider. I
Fucking
think
Blade?
Blade. Marvel owns Blade again.
Yes! Kick ass!
Um,
I
but
love Blade.
so
I
they
fucking
haven't
love
known
Blade.
what to do. And Norman Reedus, frickin' Daryl Dixon, said publicly that he would love to play Johnny Blaze for Marvel. And all these people were
Yes!
saying, "Oh, Ghost Rider, it should be, you could do a hardcore Netflix series on that." No, he's going to appear on Agents of Shield on
You
ABC.
mean Ghost Rider's going to, or Norman Reedus?
Ghost Rider.
Oh.
And they're not doing Norman Reedus. They're not doing Johnny Blaze. It's the other Ghost Rider. Is it Rudy Reyes?
The one from the 90s, the one that
Yeah,
I like. Yeah, I think
yeah.
it was Rudy Reyes was his name. But
So they're using that one. It's going to be on Agents of Shield. Commence forgetting about that now. But then they played footage from the Luke Cage series, which is cutting. Have you watched Jessica Jones?
I have not yet. I've heard about it when I was watching Daredevil. She gets mentioned at one point, and I'm like, holy crap, they really are tying this shit together.
Oh yeah, well, because you know what's coming, right? With the Netflix series.
I remember them talking about something when they were in a courtroom, and
Okay,
again,
no. The
no.
original plan with the Netflix series, they announced four series: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, which were all going to be followed by the Defenders. These four shows are going to merge and they're going to form the Defenders.
Wow.
So, hang on. So now you've got footage from the Luke Cage series, and they show he's got his own hallway fight, except he's super strong and he has unbreakable skin. So he rips the door off of a car and he's just like bashing people with it, and they're shooting at him, and he's like, "Yeah, this is boring. I'm just gonna bounce
They
now."
need to have in all those series. They need that stairwell hallway scene
Yeah, and
has to happen.
he uses the car door to press this guy against the wall. Then he folds him in the car door and chucks him down the steps. It's awesome. So Luke Cage looks really cool. Mike Coulter, the guy they cast as him, he's really great. He is so charismatic as an actor because Dawn and I watched The Good Wife, and he appeared on there a lot. He
I got pictures of him pulled up here. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the drug lord of Chicago. He was always in a suit. His manners were impeccable, very well mannered, very well spoken. But yeah, he was a very bad dude.
That is
But
a big motherfucker.
he was one of those big scary people that is also very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
You liked this guy, even though he was a horrible person. So I'm glad to see Mike Coulter as an actual hero now because he's so charismatic that he brings Luke Cage to just Luke Cage is going to get what he deserves in this actor. So they play a big fight scene with him. Then they played the first peek at Iron Fist. They finally cast Iron Fist. He's an actor by the name of Finn Jones. He's been on Game of Thrones, um, but he just got killed off, so he's free. Oops, spoiler.
Oh no. I
uh,
just have to tell people, don't listen to our podcast. Just don't.
yeah, it's a reverse marketing that we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Who's
they
this?
played Iron Fist.
Who's Misty Knight?
Misty Knight is she's an ally of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Eventually, she ends up with Danny Rand.
Anything to do with Moon Knight?
No. Oh God, Moon Knight! Don't get me started. There's go to the library, go to the comic shop, get the first volume. They did a reboot of Moon Knight at Marvel. Warren Ellis wrote it, and this guy Declan Shelby did the art. He did the art on the 28 Days Later comic that they did. He's a
Oh
really,
wow.
really great artist. I met him. He's such a nice guy. Um, but they did this Moon Knight comic, and because Moon Knight is crazy. Moon Knight is a bit of a nutball, and so but they covered brilliantly in the opening of this comic. They've got this female reporter. She's talking to her friend because she's pursuing the Moon Knight story, and her friend's like, okay, if he's a vigilante at night, why does he dress all in white? And her friend is like, well, obviously, he wants them to see him coming because he's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and get the first volume is by Warren Ellis. Great stuff.
I remember back in the '80s they did a series. I remember reading that.
Moon Knight has had like I don't know, possibly 6 different series that he's headlined.
I think they.
They always eventually dip in sales and they get canceled. But like no one buys the book all the time, but everyone loves Moon Knight. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Did
So
Stephen now? Did they do a series in the '90s and Stephen Platt did the art? Do you remember Splat?
I remember Splat.
I loved Splat. Splat was the next McFarlane. But then I got some behind the scenes stuff I heard.
I've heard,
I'll just say people can't hear it, but you can see it if you watch the video.
Is he the one who was living in his van at one point?
He was doing a comic book. I'll just say what I heard was he was doing a comic and he was so fucking detailed in his art. They were like, dude, you need to pull this fucking detail back. So when you shrink stuff down, it blows out. It's like everything becomes black. You need to back it up. And he's like, no, I won't. In fact, the last issue should be put together in a tapestry.
Okay.
and apparently did it and is somewhere in New York. I think living out of the van is something I may have possibly heard, but I
Okay.
know there's what I've read on the internet, and I know somebody who was close to this situation. And it's kind of like, yeah, he's a little great artist, great guy, has his value, like Alan Moore. I have my thing. I'm sticking to it. Fuck you. Don't put my name on it. I won't take the check. Fuck you. Or I'm going to do this shit my way. Although his way's a little bit, but his art's
Yeah.
amazing. His art's amazing. He's one of my favorites, flat out.
All right.
This Finn guy looks like he's 12, by the way.
Yes, yes. Well, he's supposed to be very young because Danny Rand, Iron Fist, is trained in the mystical city of Kunlun, and it only has an you can only access Kunlun from our world once every 10
Do you
years.
have to go to Ding Dang to get the Kunlun?
No, but a little bada bada bing bong will help in the middle of that.
Be
And what
careful. Be
happens
careful of
is
the Bangkok. So
what happens is Danny Rand, his parent, billionaire family, his parents are killed because they're betrayed by their business partner, and this guy leaves uh, Danny and his mom to die in the Himalayas after killing, Danny's father. And so the mother sacrifices herself for Danny, and he's trying to go on, but he's about to die. But then the portal to Kunlun opens, and they rescue him. They take him to Kunlun. He trains in kung fu, and then he defeats a dragon, and gets the power of the Iron Fist. He
mhm.
plunges his fists into the molten heart of the dragon, and his fists can become like iron. He focuses his
Nice.
chi, all that stuff. So then the portal opens again, and he comes back to our world. And the bad guy has taken over his family's business, but he comes back and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the heir." Kind of Bruce Wayne-ish in that part.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, they show it looks like Danny Rand is in a mental hospital at some point because he comes back to New York very vagabond looking, no shoes or whatever, and he identifies himself, and so the bad guy has him chucked in an insane asylum because, of course, Danny Rand is dead. But anyway, the series it looks cool. The little
Awesome.
little teaser trailer, but it looks cool. But then, uh, what's the Nirvana song? Come
As
as you
you
are.
are.
Anyway, and you got the music for that one. It's playing slowly, and they're going over all the camera is panning over all these different pieces of paper and things that have a D. The D in Daredevil, and you're seeing a little note. Who is Danny Rand? And eventually, all the letters that they're zooming into form the Defenders. The Defenders is coming 2017, and what do we hear? What do we hear on the event Defenders trailer? Because there's no footage, but you hear Scott Glenn as Stick
Oh, ho, ho,
say,
ho, ho, ho.
hear him say, "You think you can save New York? The four of you can't even save
Yourselves.
yourselves." And it goes from there. So what they're adding, so Stick is, I guess, going to be the Nick Fury of the Defenders, and it took me a little while to figure this out because, okay, did you see Civil War?
I haven't yet.
Okay, well, anyway,
There's a lot of
at
stuff.
the
I have other things going on. I understand you do too,
I
but
understand,
yeah.
but anyway, at the end of Civil War, the Avengers are kaput. They're separated. There's two guys left. It's Tony and the Vision in the Avengers compound. Everyone else is on the run because they wouldn't sign on to the Accords. And so the Avengers are not exactly functional. So that sets the stage for the Defenders perfectly that this thing is whatever is going to be happening in New York, they can't just call the Avengers.
Yeah. They
They're
fucked
going to have to
off.
take care of it. And it just sounds fucking it's finally happening. Because Daredevil was almost 2 years ago now, and they were calling Daredevil the first Defender. This has been a plan for years, but
Yeah.
now we're finally rolling. It's finally coming out. It's going to be awesome. I have
Love,
every
love them or hate them, Disney knows what in the fuck they're doing,
know what they're doing, and
and
then
they
and then
got Star Wars.
and they, what, you can talk about it as a lot of people try to deride, oh, they're just putting out this product. You know what? You put out a good product, it sells because people like it.
And they know
Disney
that.
is making good
Yep.
product. That's what these are. And they're doing it by, in the case of the comics properties, they're taking the best of their stories. And in the case of Civil War, which I'm not a fan of the comic, we talked about that, but they're making it better. They're putting it on their own stamp. Case in point, what we hear now, we're moving from television into films on Marvel.
Now hold on, Punisher's coming though, right?
The Punisher series is coming, but he is not going to be a part of the Defenders, which
I
wouldn't make
don't.
sense
Yeah, it
anyway.
wouldn't make sense. I'm just saying though that I mean, is there? There's probably a trailer out there. I would assume.
No, not that I know of, not yet. But you need to watch the season 2 finale of Daredevil.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hang on, because there is something in there that you will respond to very vehemently with regard to what is coming for the Punisher series.
Fucking love the Punisher. I don't know
You're
why.
gonna you're gonna like it.
Always love the
There's a
Punisher.
there's a thing, he takes a thing, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about when you watch it.
All right.
But I'm not going to say it because
The thing I always liked about him, it was like he's Batman if he was fucking crazy. Like Batman's nuts to begin with, but if Batman didn't have that "I won't kill you" kind of thing going on, the Punisher's just like, I found you. I'm not gonna have you arrested. I'm just going to fucking kill you
yep,
because the system is flawed, and you're gonna get back out and you're gonna do it again. Let me just take care of the problem.
yep.
Boom.
And so
So
now we're going to transition from TV to movies because big news: Brie Larson cast as Captain Marvel. She's going to appear in the Infinity War movie. That's where she's going to first appear, and then her flick is going to come out 2019.
Carol Danvers, right?
Carol Danvers,
Fucking a yeah.
no longer Miss Marvel. She is Captain Marvel, and she's going to be a premier hero in the MCU
But
because there's
Rogue is owned by Fox and the X Men, and
yeah, and so Rogue can't get Carol Danvers powers because they're not in the same universe. So Rogue was never as relevant to character. Um,
oh, fuck you, Rogue was awesome.
in the films.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude.
I'm like Rogue not relevant. I heard Rogue not relevant. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking.
Hey, I had as big a crush of Rogue as anyone did in their
Everybody did.
teenage
Come
years,
on,
so
I
let
mean,
me
you
tell
know, the white streak and yeah.
you.
That's why you did it. That's why you made your hair gray, white. Excuse me, as soon as you possibly could.
I didn't make it; it just happened. I'm gonna dye that shit.
Dude, bullshit, man. I remember you coming down here visiting when you were like 18-ish, maybe 17, and we were in my pool, and you went under the water, and you came back up, and I went, dude, your hair didn't move, and you said, I didn't want it to.
No, the best was when we went. This Irish kid we hung out with, PJ. He, me, him, and Joe. We went down to the lake in like October, like late September, early October, because because the water's still warm. At least we thought so when we were
I was
in
about to
our
say,
late
like,
teens.
hold on a minute.
So we went, yeah, we basically went skinny dipping in the lake, and we got out. And he looks at me, he's like, "That's your hair." I'm like, "What about it?" He's like, "It's fucking dry." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it does that like instantly." I hadn't discovered conditioner yet, even now. Anyway. Brie Larson, Captain
There we
Marvel.
go. Okay, yeah. We deviate,
Then
folks. We deviate.
there hasn't been any footage of Thor Ragnarok yet, but the Hulk is going to be in it. The Hulk is going to be in it side
His
by
armor.
side.
I did see his armor. I saw a picture of that.
They're basically sneaking their Planet Hulk movie into a Thor movie. Because do you know the legal reason why there hasn't been another standalone Hulk movie?
Well, first off, there have been three.
Two. There was the Ang Lee one,
Yeah, and then there
and
was
then
the
there
Ed
was
Norton
the Ed
one,
Norton one.
and then the Hulk changed again into Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, but the Hulk was like everybody's favorite part of the Avengers. So they were like, "Hey, where's a standalone Hulk movie?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't know what story we'd use." Blah blah blah. Turns out, because the Hulk was produced by Marvel Studios, it was distributed by Universal.
Uh,
Something in the deal, Universal still has the distribution rights
hmm
to the Hulk film. So if Marvel made another one, they can. They still own the character, and they would pay for the movie, but Universal would get the distribution rights and fees and all that.
Yeah. So they're turning a Hulk movie, Planet Hulk, into
They're basically sneaking it in the middle of Thor Ragnarok.
Awesome.
Thor is being billed as like this, intergalactic buddy movie between Hulk and Thor, and they've shown the armor. So Thor's going to end up in an arena like in the Planet Hulk comic. They're like, yeah, screw you, Universal. We're making a Planet Hulk movie anyway, and there's nothing you can do about it because they only own the rights to the individual character. And see, this is what's weird with Marvel being a film studio now that also makes comics, because in the comics there's a new Hulk. This Asian dude, I forget the character's name, but he like absorbed the Hulk essence from Banner or something, and they just killed off Banner in Civil War II.
They're
They
killing
killed
off
off
everybody. What the
they
fuck?
killed off Banner, not the Hulk. So I wonder if having this other guy become the Hulk is if I wonder if it's a legal thing. If they make the Hulk a different character, if they can argue that Universal owns the rights to the Bruce Banner Hulk, not the Amadeus Cho Hulk or whatever.
Or if they Amadeus Cho. Um,
I don't
or
know.
if they
I
own
have to look what his name is.
the Hulk in the comic is now this character. They own the rights to the Hulk in the comic. They don't own the rights to Bruce Banner, or maybe they do. So he changed his name to David Banner. We've seen that before.
No,
It was on a TV show, right? Remember, he went around as David Banner instead of Bruce Banner.
yeah, you know why? Because an executive at CBS thought Bruce was a homosexual sounding.
That's right, fucking eggs bacon. I've
Yeah.
definitely heard that before. Yeah,
Holy shit, that is his name. Amadeus Cho is the new Hulk.
mine like a steel trap. I tell everybody, mine like a steel trap.
Slightly rusty steel trap.
Yeah, it happens. Well, you're now how old are you now? 40,
It is
44?
I am 44 years old
You
today.
hit it. Think about this.
44.
You know what was happening 22 years ago? You were turning 22. When I turned 42, I'd get carded because I actually wasn't gray back then. Stress does this. So what's going on with you? Anyway, and I'd throw my
Buttercup.
I'd throw my ID. I'd throw
Kiss my ass.
I'd give my ID to somebody and they'd be like, "Hey, ID." I'm like, "Yeah, here you go. I'm 21 with 21 years experience."
Nice.
I was like,
You know what
double 21.
When I was reading, like after Longbow Hunters, I was reading that Green Arrow comic after that, because Ollie was always considerably older than the other DC heroes, and he turned 44, and he got a birthday card from Dinah that was a picture of Dirty Harry with the pistol pointing out, and it said, "Happy birthday to a big 44." And I'm like, man,
Wow.
I want to get that birthday card someday. I
My-
don't think they make that birthday card anymore.
Well, it's probably nobody knows.
But
Nobody knows who Dirty Harry is.
Yeah, but my lovely wife, there was a tournament there was an X-Wing tournament at my game shop last night. It was BYOB X-Wing. We played 3 rounds. It was a
We're
Saturday night.
deviating into X-wing, so
We're deviating again.
we're taking a hard stop right now.
But
Talk X-wing.
I walk in and everyone's like, "Hey, Lenjo, happy birthday!" I'm like, "Okay, how did you know that? I don't think we're friends on Facebook." And then they hand me a playmat, which I hadn't gotten around to buying for myself yet. And they're like, "Hey, happy birthday!" And I'm like, "Seriously?" And they're like, "Your wife called. Happy birthday." I'm like, holy shit! Yeah, my wife called the game shop and arranged and bought me a mat and had them give it to me when I came in.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was a great surprise.
Did you get to do flight starfighter things? I thought earlier when we were talking before we started recording, you held up something in plastic.
Oh yeah, I picked up a buddy of mine that I play with. He gave me one of his $5 vouchers. He said, "Here, happy birthday." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll buy the Mist Hunter tonight."
How much
And-
those figures? How much those? I call them figures, but ships.
The ships they average $15 for the individual ship because it's an expansion. It comes with various upgrade cards and things that go with the game because you need a core set to start.
I was about to say, what's the core set? What's going on with that?
The core set retails at 40, but Target's marking them down. The Force Awakens core set. There's a classic core set and a Force Awakens core set.
Which one's better? Which one should somebody start playing with?
Ooh, you need them both. Need them both.
Okay.
First one comes with R2D2, who is expensive but allows you to regenerate shields. The second one comes with Poe Dameron from the new movie, and he is just dreamy.
It's fucking
So
Poe.
yeah, it's Poe, man. So you got to play with that. But yeah, the individual ships they average 15. Some of them bump up to 20 if they're bigger or have more stuff
Do
with
they
them.
have like out of print ones that are still legal to play with?
No, everything's still available. You can get every ship from every wave. Sometimes supplies run low on some of them, but yeah, you can order all of them from pretty much anywhere. Uh, uh, yeah, we've got.
Oh, you gotta get going. That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give us a 5 minute warning here, just so I can get dressed and go.
I
Uh,
have to go to bed because I'm waking up in like
Holy shit!
in 4 hours.
Yeah, this is my day 3 of my 3-day birthday weekend. I go right
No,
to
we haven't been able to get together because
yeah.
this shit's been
What?
going
'Cause
on. And I'm
life,
like,
dude. Life
fuck. I'm
just
like,
happens.
dude, we need to fucking get together. I gotta do editing. I have this whole real. No, oh god, what's it called? I can't remember. Real Ultimate Geeks going on.
Yep.
That's
God,
turning into.
I am so envious of your movie posters. It's not even funny. I gotta get. I need movie posters.
I think every week I should probably swap them out and put something else in there.
Yeah.
I was gonna
You know what?
I was gonna do Alien, but it's in glass.
Oh,
And my
okay.
comic art's up there. So what I should do is pull a comic art down and put. I think I'm gonna do that. That's a good fucking idea, Ken.
You know what? You know what I hate? I've got the poster for V for Vendetta,
It's a good
which is
one.
a great poster and a great look, but I was so disappointed by that movie that I almost don't want to tacitly endorse it. But I don't know. It's fucked up.
It's no,
And
I'm the same way.
the poster has the original release date of the flick.
We were talking about this. I
Originally
think we
gonna
did this
co-
on another
it was
episode.
originally
Yeah,
going to come out on November 5th, but they changed it to the 12th. I don't know.
because of Batman, was it, or
No, because they're stupid.
well, there was a
There
reason
was-
I thought it got
I don't
pushed
think
back.
there was a reason. I think they maybe didn't want to, send the message that they wanted to blow up.
Somebody listened to the previous episodes. 'Cause I thought he mentioned a reason. Anyway,
Yeah.
our friend Joe Diaz.
Yeah?
Well, you never met Joe. I know
Haven't
Joe.
met, but we've connected on.
Believe me, you guys would definitely scissor. He works for a poster company, and at one time, he's like, "Yeah, we get original Aliens movie posters in all the time." I'm like, "Original?" He's like,
Generous
"Oh
friendship.
yeah." I'm like, "What are we talking?" He's like, "I don't know, 20, $30." I'm like, "I bet you they're not original." Because you and I were at the Forest Park Mall, and they had a shitty comic book convention, which was the middle of the mall. Remember?
Uh-huh.
I said people setting shit up, and I bought an Aliens movie poster there. That's framed and hanging on the wall.
Nice.
But I think that's a reprint because I don't know. That's another conversation with the whole.
That's another one.
Go to your real movie place there.
I will.
So, all right, you gotta get going. I gotta get to
Yep.
sleep.
You guys sleep.
Probably gonna splice these two
Clown
episodes
unit.
together. I work with a bunch of clowns. And what do they want? A glass of water.
Who are those clowns?
Oh, who's this little Snivitsky? What's a Snivitsky? I'm rewatching.
Pissant little nothing.
Very good. I'm watching Three's Company again. I've never really watched Three's Company. I've seen it, but I'm like going through them. Or my best line is,
How is there not a Regal Beagle T-shirt? That's what I
there was a bar down the street here called the Regal Beagle for years,
shit.
and they shut down. Yeah, it was
Have
funny.
you seen Bone Tomahawk?
I watched the opening scene. It played in the background where I had people over. Then I watched the ending. Yes,
Okay.
I'm very familiar with that movie. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
I
That-
win the lotto. I'm opening a bar called the Learned Goat. The Learned Goat. There's a T-shirt at the expensive ass British.
Oh,
t-shirt.
that place. Yeah. Last exit
Yeah.
to nowhere.
I'm
Last
tempted.
exit to
I'm
nowhere.
tempted.
But another line, the best line from that movie. Well, I'm still stuck on a real man because I remember
Easy to do.
Nick. I didn't know you smoked. Only after sex. Or was it? He was about a pack a day. No, he goes, yeah. Nah, I only smoke after sex. About a pack a day.
Back a day, yeah.
Nick, that'll kill you. No, but it will make you very sore. I got good news. I got bad news. The good news is we won't be here for long. The bad news is we're not getting out of here alive.
It's a great movie.
I use so many fucking lines of that. It's one of my favorites of all time. So, all right, brother, we're gonna cut it down, shut it down.
Yep.
I need some fucking sleep.